Hi everyone, from this video I'm gonna start a series of machine learning by using Python, and this is a part 0 introduction to machine learning. And I would highly suggest you to stay connected to this video, because after this video you will be clear that whether or not you should learn about machine learning. So after this video you will know what is machine learning, what are the types of machine learning, what is the difference in AI, ML and DL and neural networks. So basically what happens is that when beginners came to this field, they came with any of this name like AI or ML or DL or NN, but they don't know that these four are different. And next we're gonna cover about basic structure of ML code. So what happens is, most of the tutorials, what happens, let's say if I'm making video on linear regression, I will come just import libraries, import data and just code the model and make the prediction. That's it, done. So next time what happen if I want to make something of my own, if it haven't done yet, so what I will do, I don't know that where to start, where to end. So this is the basic structure which every ML or deep learning code will going to follow, almost every. And at last we're gonna install all the tools you need to run machine learning code. So I am very excited to take you through all this, and in the upcoming videos we're gonna cover machine learning algorithms. So make sure you stay tuned to my YouTube channel, and I will leave a playlist link in down description also. Let's start this video. So we're gonna start this video by asking yourself a question: why you want to learn machine learning, and what if you have learned machine learning, what things you're gonna make. So these are two questions which you have to answer before learning machine learning. And in your way, if you feel stuck anywhere or feeling boring or if you want to quit in between machine learning, then you can just watch out these two answers, which next time when you feel boring you will read out these answers and you will again feel energetic, and you will again gonna learn the things. So after all this, let us start the main video. Now, what is machine learning? Now, one thing you have to clear in your mind, since you are learning machine learning, you're gonna learn machine learning, you have to make sure that you don't feel like machine learning is a magic. Like after learning this, you're gonna do a lot of stuff, you're gonna make a robot which will going to rule over the world. Trust me, machine learning haven't reached that far. Maybe you are the person who is going to make such algorithms. Good luck for you to have a new journey, but for now machine learning haven't reached that big level. So then what is machine learning? Machine learning is just statistical fitting of data and finding the correlation in it. So what do I mean by that? So what is data? First of all, data can be anything. We're gonna cover more deeply in the upcoming chapter of this video, but in short, data can be anything, and we statistically find the correlation in that data. So next time when we want to predict something, we can predict on the basis of the previous data which we have given to our machine learning model. Another definition you will come across on google.com or many other websites, which is machine learning is a branch of AI focused on building applications that learn from data. Again, both of these definitions are same, and it is written that and improve their accuracy over time without being explicitly programmed. Yeah, that's all I have said. So you don't have to explicitly sit down and write the code and make your model to think. So all of these things happen automatically based on the data you give them. So everything done by using mathematics. It's good to say that you don't have to write all the algorithms on your own. There are libraries like sklearn, or when we come to neural networks, there are libraries called TensorFlow, PyTorch. They have already written the algorithm, you just have to call the function. So make sure you have all the basics clear before using those, because it will make no sense when you just don't know the basics and just calling the function and making the model. This will not going to make any sense. So we are talking much about data, but what is data? So let's talk about that. So data can be anything which is made by a combination of one or more bits. Now don't say that you don't know about bits. Make sure you know about bits. Bits are the basic building block. It can be 0 or 1. It can attain only two values, right? and combination of 8 bits is 1 byte, and data can be anything, combination of one or more bit. I hope it is just straightforward to understand. So this is some data which I have written in tabular form. So as I said, data can be anything. So red is also data, 2 is also data, 100 is also data, even weight is also data, cherry is data. So this is a data for two fruits, one is apple and cherry, and these three are the properties of this fruit column, right? So these properties are called independent variables, and this column will be dependent on these three independent variables. So these three gonna decide which fruit is it, right? If you see from here, it's bit clear that the color property is always same for cherry and apple. Now you can see that cherry is dark red, but still I just want to aware you by the fact of data pre-processing. So what happens when you have the data, you have to pre-process it. Why I'm taking you through data pre-processing is that next time when I talk about this, you don't feel uncomfortable with the word. So in data pre-processing, we usually find out the variables which are not necessary for our dependent variable or column which we are going to predict. So color is no more required by us, so we have to take care about all this in data pre-processing part. So size and weight, these two columns allow us to predict fruit column. So if the size is 2 centimeter, then weight, and the weight is 20 gram, then it is cherry. So let us do one thing, let us plot these points onto the graph, then I will show you. Alright, so I have plotted the data onto the graph, and based on the algorithm, don't worry which algorithm is doing this, but based on the algorithm, we're gonna separate these two data by using a perfect boundary. In this case, it's a classification problem because we are classifying two categories. So this is a classification problem. So this is the data, I have plotted it. So now next time when new data come, let's say at this point, so I have to make prediction. I have already fitted my data model onto this data, and next time when new data come, I have to predict. Then I will just find out which side of the line is this point available. So this is on right side, so this is for apple and this is for cherry. So this is the data, right? So in this way we apply machine learning to our data. I hope everything is clear how machine learning works and how it is fitted to data. And don't worry for now how this is going to fit. We are gonna cover in deeper in this series, but for now make sure you know about what is data, you know about data, a bit about data pre-processing, and you know how machine learning works. So now we will move further and we will read about what are the types of machine learning. So there are basically mostly used three types, which is supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. For now, let us ignore these definitions and directly dive into these three diagrams. So this is supervised, and one thing I clear is that this data is also supervised data, because you see that in supervised data we have input data and we know what is going to be the output, and in this case we already knew that output is going to be apple or cherry. Wherever in unsupervised we only have the input but we don't know what is going to be the output. If you see in this diagram over here, there are two axes, x and y, and the classes are green class 2, blue class 1, and this purple as unknown. So there is a separate boundary, and this is classification problem once again. So separate boundary, and in this case you are having input and output, and this is supervised. So involves model of learning to map relation between input and output data, and the data is called label data when you have input and output clearly mentioned in your data. So this is supervised machine learning. So what is unsupervised machine learning? There is only input data which is called unlabeled data, and the model explores it to find clusters. So in unsupervised machine learning, model finds cluster in the data and it don't have the output. it only have input. So it is mostly used for data exploratory purposes. Mostly we use supervised machine learning. So you will be more clear when we will be coding these algorithms, and when we will be learning about these algorithms, then you will be more clear. And the last one is reinforcement machine learning. So what is it? So have a look at this diagram. It clearly depicts the picture of it. So in reinforcement, there is an agent, and that agent is trained by using reward or penalty. So there is an environment, and agent lives in that environment, and agent have to do some action, and based on that action, if that action is good, we provide reward, and if that action is bad, we provide penalty, right? And the agent have to maximize the reward in order to train it, right? So let's look at this diagram. So agent can go either in this direction or in this direction. So agent tries to go in this direction, and agent finds out that it is bad, so we punish them with minus 50 points. So next time agent will figure out that this move is bad move, next time I have to avoid it. So next time when it will restart, it will go to this direction rather than going to this direction. So this is all about reinforcement machine learning. Yeah, so you may just pause the video if you want to read out these definitions, but I hope there is not much complex about all this. Now, what are the difference in AI, ML, DL and NN? AI is artificial intelligence, ML is machine learning, DL is deep learning, and NN is neural networks. So you just come to this diagram, you will find that AI is the superset of ML, DL and NN. Similarly, ML is super for DL, NN, and DL is for NN. So what actually is AI? AI is field which allow computer to think on their own. So AI is the combination of ML, DL and NN. So AI is not just limited to one task. AI is going to do more than one task without being explicitly programmed, right? Wherever machine learning fit on particular data which is doing a particular task of that particular data type. Similarly, deep learning also, it is doing particular data of particular type. So what actually is difference in machine learning and deep learning? Machine learning is statistical fitting of the data, right? We have already covered so much about machine learning. Now what is deep learning? Deep learning uses neural network to learn from data on its own. Now what is neural network? Let us first understand this. Neural network are interconnected neurons which hold value after getting some operation performed on them. Actually, now let's understand what is neuron. Neuron is just a variable which is holding a value, and that value have some operations performed on them, maybe multiplication, maybe addition, and so many operations performed on that value which is held by that variable, and that variable is called neuron, and all the neurons are interconnected with each other. So this is neural network. Like the name is clear by the fact that neural network of neurons or network of neuron. So what is deep learning? Deep learning uses that network of neuron in order to learn from the data on its own, right? I have already created a very detailed series about neural network where I have shown you from the scratch and coded from the scratch how neural networks work. I'm going to link that video in that I button playlist, that I button, and in description also. Plus we're gonna cover more deeper in the upcoming videos about deep learning. So I hope you know about AI, ML and DL and neural networks. Well, neural network is more popular, or deep learning is more popular in computer vision fields, and when you have to predict time series data, in that type there it is more popular. Now let's talk about what is the basic coding structure which every ML code going to follow, or every ML algorithm whichever you use follows. So first of all, we load the data. Now there are libraries in order to load the data. The most popular one is pandas, and we use pandas to load the data, and then we pre-process the data. you're gonna learn. Don't worry about all this. You just understand that we first have to load the data in the program, and then we pre-process the data. In this case, we usually get rid of unuseful columns. I have already covered the colors column, right? So we get rid of unuseful column. Plus you know that machine learning is all about mathematical equations, and mathematical equations don't work on strings. So our data can be string also. As I said, data can be anything. So you have to figure out a way in order to convert string to integer so that it can work with machine learning algorithms. So in this case, in the part of pre-processing data, we usually do that stuff. And then we call the model. As I said, there are libraries called scikit-learn, and those libraries already contain the implementation of that algorithm. Otherwise, if we have to write, and it would have took a whole day or even a week based on the algorithm you are writing, it could have taken those much time. But there are libraries called scikit-learn. They You just have to call the function. You just have to say import from sklearn import linear regression, such that. So you just have to call the function and you fit that pre-processed data on this model, and we call it trained model. So after this, we'll have trained model, and we just make the prediction on new data, whatever new data you give to the model. So this is it. This is the basic coding structure, and you're gonna find that we're gonna follow this basic structure in our all of the videos. And now this is the last step. We're gonna install the tool which is called Anaconda. Now what is Anaconda? Brief introduction. It is a software which contains all the packages you need to run almost all the packages which you need to run your machine learning code. So let us just go to this link right over here. So if you click on this, now you have to click on download. Don't worry, I will leave this link in down description and this PowerPoint presentation also. So you have to click on this download button. You will come to this page, and based on your appropriate operating system you have to choose. So in my case it's Linux 64-bit. Let's click on this, and it will say save file, and click OK. So after this, it is going to download. It's around 544 MB. Okay, so now as you can see, I have downloaded it over here. Now you have to open the terminal in the same directory, and if I press ls, then you can see the file is over here. Now I'll copy the name of the file, and now you have to say dot and / and paste the name of the file. Press enter, and now again press enter and hold the enter key until you see the question is asking yes or no. Now you have to accept that by hitting yes, and now it will ask you to enter the location where you want to install the Anaconda. If you press enter, it will install in the default location which is shown over here, and if you want to choose any other location, just copy the location and paste it over here and press enter. But if I want to install in the default, I will press enter. In this case, I have already installed, and I have fairly good size amount of all the packages, which is around 3 to 4 GB. So I'm not gonna reinstall it, but in your case you just have to keep pressing enter, enter, enter. Now for checking if it is installed correctly or not, just press conda command and it should show something over here. If not shows, then close the terminal and open again, and then again type conda command. And if it still not show this thing right over here, then leave the error in down description. I will try to solve it. Okay, so this is it for Linux section. Now let's jump to Windows part. Okay, so here we are in Windows, and I have downloaded for Windows also. Just double click on this and you will find a new window, something like this over here, and now hit next and next, and now you can choose whether to install for all of the user or just for yourself. Hit next and next, and now you can add this to your path variable if you haven't Python installed already, but I have installed, so I will click tick, and now it will take some good amount of time and you just have to wait. And I have fast forwarded and hit next, and now hit once again next, and untick both of them, hit finish. Now for checking if it is installed or not, just open cmd, and in the cmd you have to type conda, something like this. Now once you enter conda and something this type of content show over here, it means that you have successfully installed Conda. And again, if you find any error regarding this, you may just leave a comment down below. I will leave a reply to it if I know the solution to it. So that's it, and I'll see you in the next parts.